Hey guys, Brendan, by the way, that audio guide. Today I'm going to be talking about how to record your MIDI keyboard or your piano into your computer. Now, the first thing you want to make sure that you do, this applies to any DAW, is make sure that you have your software instrument selected on your DAW or your instrument track created. So we're going to insert a synth, just one that is included with Logic. And here we go. So specific to Logic, you can look right here and see if there's MIDI activity. If that's not there, click on Customize Control Bar and make sure that that is selected so you can see if it's working. If that is not showing up or you are not getting signal, then you have to look at a couple of things. Number one, what type of keyboard are you trying to use? Does it have MIDI or does it have USB? Okay, if it has USB, do you have the proper drivers installed? I have a Yamaha DGX 640, and when I first hooked it up, it didn't work. So I started looking all over the internet. I thought my keyboard was broken. I thought maybe there was something wrong with my computer. Turns out I just had to install a driver. That's not always common with Macs, but it happens. So if you have a USB keyboard or controller, is the driver installed? The next thing to note is your keyboard MIDI? Which means, does it have the 5-prong input on it or output, like this one? Is that a connector on your keyboard? You may have that and a USB. I would say first try the USB just because you probably have a USB cable laying around the house. If it is using MIDI, do you have a MIDI cable? Do you have an interface that accepts MIDI? If not, it's okay. There are things like here on Amazon, a MIDI to USB converter. These are pretty cheap, $30, $7. It's cheaper than going out and buying an audio interface that accepts MIDI. A lot of interfaces these days aren't including MIDI because some claim it's a little bit outdated to use the MIDI cable. A lot of people prefer to just use the USB cable. But regardless, if that's what you have, then you need to kind of look for a solution. Otherwise, you won't be able to do MIDI controls within your DAW. Now, if you want to use audio output, like if you have a Clavinova piano and you don't have a way to hook up MIDI, you can still use the audio output, but instead of being able to use it as a virtual controller like you do in here, you would have to just use it as an audio track and then play according to the voice on the piano, and that will record into here. But you don't have the advantages to using MIDI things like you do in here, like editing velocity and timing and all those things. Learn your equipment, guys. That is the best thing you can do right now. There's no use to go buy all this stuff when you don't actually need it. Just learn how to use the stuff you have, and if you know how to use it well, then you will be so much more ahead of a lot of people because you won't be wasting time looking on forums trying to figure out what's going on. To recap, does your keyboard or controller have USB or MIDI? If it has USB, check for drivers. If it has MIDI, do you have a MIDI cable? And do you have a way to hook it up to your computer? Remember to subscribe to the YouTube channel and subscribe to the email list where I will send you exclusive content that I only send to subscribers there. And I will see you guys soon.